Welcome back to Exploring Whiskeys. I'm Eric.
I'm Kevin, and today we're going to be doing another Scotch from Glenlivet, and it's another of their Nadura release. We've already done the Week in Peat, I think is what it's called. This is the first fill. Not necessarily a new release. They've done a handful of these different releases for the first fill, but
6 years? It's been around for 6 years?
yeah. This one in particular, this one's actually bottled in November 2015. Nadura is, I guess, Scottish Gaelic or just Gaelic for natural. So that's the idea. It is non-chill filtered, it is cask strength, and I am super looking forward to that. So we're talking almost 120 proof Scotch.
They've been listening to us.
They have. But apparently...
How many episodes have we said, God, I wish it was at least
a little bit stronger. A little bit stronger.
100.
We got 119. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So first fill is a reference to, so we've mentioned this before, almost all Scotches use either ex-bourbon, ex-sherry, ex-cognac, whatever. They use used barrels. So that is one of the things that they do. First fill is a reference to, this is the very first time this barrel has been used to age Scotch. It has already been used to age bourbon. So this is all American oak, so all bourbon was aged in it. But the very first time that it was used to age a Scotch is the only time that it touches this whiskey. So, should have a touch of a bourbon note to it, maybe? Nope, that has a touch of fruit. Wow. That's kind of funny, because I remember reading the notes, and I didn't expect it to, those more tropical fruit. Ooh. Pear, maybe a little bit of, like the sweet honey malt cereal thing is in there, but...
Honeycomb?
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
It is heavy on pear.
But proof? Smell anything?
No.
120, almost 120 proof. 119 too. And there's
I'm excited.
no burn on the nose at all. That is citrus fruit and honey. Wow, that's a lot of honey. It keeps getting sweeter.
Well, I left that one in there a little too long.
Okay.
And I didn't aerate it, but you picked up a little heat.
The heat comes in, finally. It does show up.
But as you're kind of swirling it around, it is nothing but a sweet bomb.
So, I did my quick little sip. That's how
I
always start with my little sip. Like hot coffee.
And I took a bigger sip than I probably should have.
That's what I've always tried to do, is the first sip is a small sip like you're sipping hot coffee. And you don't really hold it in your mouth, you just let it fly through. And that kind of preps you for that second sip.
It's good though. I was hoping to have more of a little bourbon note to it, but...
I was too.
This one, no.
For new American oak, like this would have made more sense, like the flavor profile, if it said first fill sherry.
Yeah.
The more fruity notes is more what I get than I get like bourbon notes.
Or if they use like
a wine, like a cab or something like that. Yeah. Even a cognac, something. It doesn't first fill American oak. That said, all right, so wasn't what I expected.
No.
At all, but really good. It's a nice flavor profile. It's still very Glenlivet is really what it comes down to. It's very Glenlivet tasting. It's a higher proof Glenlivet. It's the very fruity, sweet.
Light and fruity.
Yeah, honey. Speyside. The first fill barreling really didn't add to it necessarily, like add a flavor profile to it. It just tastes a lot like stronger Glenlivet.
Just added to the proof.
So, non-age statement. Don't know how old this has been sitting in there. I do know all Scotches have to be at least 3 years old. So definitely more than 3 years old. I'm going to probably guess closer to the 10-year range. It's pretty mellow. Personally, it just kind of feels a little more mellow. That's all I got. It's a single malt, which does not necessarily mean it's all the same malt. I did learn that one too.
It's just an interesting profile.
It is different.
I was not expecting the fruit punch of Scotch.
Fruit punch of Scotch. Yeah, that's yeah, tropical fruits. More like Hawaiian punch is all like tropical fruits, right? Yeah.
No, I would definitely have another pour or two, but that was not what I was expecting.
Not what I was expecting. Agree with that. Two, and I don't think everybody would agree with this statement. I think I like the peated one better. I think it was more interesting.
Yeah, definitely interesting for sure.
I feel like it was a little bit more interesting in how it was like.
It evolved.
Yes, that's exactly it. How it evolved. I think you refer to it as the Neapolitan of whiskeys. Like, you know, there's the smoke, there's the sweet Glenlivet, there's the proof coming through, and I just thought that was a more interesting all-around whiskey. Nothing wrong with this at all. It's good. I like the fact that they're playing in that almost 120 proof. Yes, totally.
Keep it up.
Yeah, totally love that idea. It reminds me of like the Glenlivet does that, the Caribbean cast. Mm-hmm. It's very similar to that. That rum, the Caribbean rum, finished very tropical, fruity, just at 119.
Well, the original one is just so citrusy, and then you got the sherry one, the sherry finish, the dark red maroon label. Then the Caribbean one's all rum.
Right.
That double oaked one's just the only one that was not as fruity.
No,
Not as fruity.
Not fruity. No, not fruity. The cognac one's good too.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the Glenlivet cognac. That's the 15. One of those. That one's really good too. So what else do we know about this? Non-chill filtered, obviously barrel proof. I'm gonna say, based off the name, probably no coloring added to that guy either. No. I like the line. Apparently the Nadura line has existed for a while, and they've released a handful of things. The first fill is one of the ones, like the OGs. They release that all the time. The peated one, I think last year or this year was the first time they released that. So that one's kind of an interesting one. There are other ones, and I think that's going to continue to be a line that they do.
The cast strength line would be interesting if they just did that all the way across.
All the way across their line?
Yeah.
I would love to try the cognac cast strength. That would be awesome. Because that was delicious. Their cognac one was just great.
All of them. I mean, they're all
very good.
They're all good, but again, standard.
But the cognac one, I think, is in the 90s. That's probably one of the reasons why I like that one too.
No, I think a lot of them, obviously we've said it before, higher proof would probably be better for us. But it'd be interesting if they kind of went that route and just across the board.
Yeah, and maybe that's what they could do that with this Nadura line. Mm-hmm. They could, okay, well, now we're going to do a cognac finished one and release it, and it's going to be non-chill filter, cast strength, done, go. It's not a cheap line of whiskeys. It, for the most part, is in the $90 to $100. Mm-hmm. I got this one on sale. I was so happy when I saw that sale come through. So
at Cool Springs?
Yeah. Got the letter, and that's like the first time I saw a whiskey on that newsletter where I was just like, I want that. You know, there is that to consider. Would I spend $90 on this again? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm happy that I bought it. I would probably, if I'm gonna choose, I'd spend the $90 on the peated one, just because I think it's more interesting. And the cognac at 92 or whatever it is, I think I'd rather
this one
have
is
that.
kind of false suit. The whole fruity.
Yeah, it's
just the proof.
Yeah, it's proofed up, but it doesn't feel.
But the
taste
sweetness
special.
was ramped up too. Again, thought the other one was good. I think, like we said before, kind of the flavor changed through that one, made it, and especially the whole peat.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of threw us for a loop. Yeah,
it's very different. It's a very different note for Glenlivet. I feel like I'm poo-pooing it, and I really don't mean to.
No.
It's really good. It's a very good whiskey. I love the 120 proof. I like the fruit notes. It's a little pricey for a non-age statement whiskey. That's just, I mean, you're just paying for the proof, I guess.
Yeah, from these guys, yeah, for sure.
You're just paying for the proof.
Yep.
Not sure if it's totally worth it, but it's still really good.
But the next one that comes out is even better.
Wait. I can't wait. Like, okay, now I've got another line of things that I'm just waiting for them to come out.
Hopefully, the one comes out soon. Sooner rather than later.
I don't know what their release schedule is on that guy. That's one thing I did not look into.
Tomorrow.
Exactly.
Again, it's one of those lines, the Glenlivet, you can't go wrong with.
No. I'm not sure we've had one that... We've not had any of the Glenlivets where it's bad.
No.
That just doesn't exist. There are ones that are really good, and there's ones that are they're pretty
average.
good. It's good it's good. It's a space side. That's about it. Like, it's not special.
But no, it's a interesting lineup. Again, the cast strength and the peated. I'm anxious to see what comes out next.
Exactly. Yeah, me too.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this review of the Tropical Fruit Bomb. If you did, we'd encourage you to swipe that like button at the bottom of the screen.
While you're down there, if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you get notified every time we put out a new episode. Let us know, one, what are your thoughts on the Dora line? Two, have you had any of the other ones that they've released before? I don't know. I didn't look into the history. Trying to find old ones is just near useless. So I didn't feel like teasing myself, basically. But have you had any of the ones that you thought were delicious and we
worth
should...
the money.
Yeah, worth the money to go after, and maybe they'll release another version of that next year.
Re-release.
Rewind. Anyway, let us know.
Yep.
Post down in the comments. Love to hear from you.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for watching.
See you next
Cheers.
time. Cheers. I definitely got the bananas.
Yep. Like runts.
Ugh, that's the worst runt.